Hello there, and welcome back to another Star Wars What If reaction. Today, we're reacting to what if the Droid army joined the Clone Rebellion created by the Star Wars Galaxy. Be sure to check him out, the link's in the description, and I cannot wait to see what he came up with for this What If, so let's jump right in.
The Clone Uprising. The story
Okay.
begins on a moon of the
go.
planet Anaxis as an escape pod is crashing hard into the surface. Clone troopers Rex, Cody, Wolf, Echo, and Gregor
Anaxis.
quickly open the door, stumbling out to look to the sky, seeing nothing but destruction.
What planet was Anaxis? I don't remember actually.
They fell for an Imperial trap, and now a small fleet that Rex and his Clone Rebellion have been building is being ripped apart by the Empire. More escape pods slammed into the surface, but not nearly enough. As Rex looked to the sky, he remembered the last few years and everything leading up to the destruction of his uprising.
Yeah, man.
When Echo left the Bad Batch and joined up with him, things were really going well for the Clone Uprising on Teth. Once Tantus was destroyed,
Yeah, and then Tef got infiltrated by one of those clone assassins that were brainwashed.
more and more clones were joining up with them. And with every new clone, more missions against the Empire could happen. Unfortunately, this meant the Clone Uprising was more exposed, and naturally the Empire found them on Teth. Rex and his rebellion escaped Teth in a fleet of scavenged or stolen ships, and the uprising of around 500 clones ended up having their base exclusively in space, jumping from different areas to evade the Empire, slowly taking on the Empire, growing their uprising, until one day Rex and the uprising
Guerrilla warfare.
received a distress signal. It was Anakin Skywalker's emergency code. Naturally, this
Yeah, because he's definitely still Anakin Skywalker and definitely still a Jedi that likes clones.
made Rex and the fleet so excited that they failed to really consider that it could be a trap. The fleet took off
Yeah.
to the location of the
I mean, obviously they don't know that Anakin is, well, not their Anakin anymore. He's kind of a Sith Lord now in a big black suit.
to find a Jedi starfighter floating in space above the Anaxis moon. And within seconds, an Imperial fleet led by the notorious Darth Vader himself emerged,
Yeah.
ripping the Clone Uprising fleet to shreds. Rex really thought Anakin might be alive,
That's
but
cooked.
instead, only around 50 of the clones survived this battle.
And how many were there?
landing here on the moon. And on this moon now, the 50 clones got out of their escape pods, with around 30 more dead in the pods.
Yeah,
They gathered
bro.
together, and Rex ordered everyone to prepare for battle. The Empire would be coming to finish them off. But by his
If 30 of them are dead in the escape pods, well, there's like 20 of them left.
Echo noticed something. They were on a snowy moon, and underneath where his pod crashed was some sort of hidden door in the ground.
Oh.
Echo used his mechanical arm to unscrew the latch, and he opened it to see a huge layer beneath them.
What the hell?
Echo quickly ordered everyone inside.
Wasn't Anaxis
So
a-
the clones climbed down the ladder
A separatist moon or planet, whatever the hell it was?
before closing the latch and covering it with snow. As they all got to the bottom, it was extremely dark, and they waited for what seemed like forever as the Empire searched above ground for them. The stormtroopers ultimately deemed that no one survived,
Okay.
and they left victorious over the clones. And down in this cavern, some of the
Vader's gonna know that, like, someone has to have survived, though.
had working flashlights to look around at where they were. None of them were speaking. There was a somber feeling of failure in the air. But as Wolf looked around, he spotted a tactical droid connected to some wires in the wall.
Okay.
He walked over to the droid, calling Echo to be with him, and Echo was able to activate this tactical droid. In its
Yeah,
robotic
so
voice,
there's separatist stuff here.
the droid proclaimed that it was leaving low power mode, and it requested orders from its leader, Admiral Trench. And now the
Oh.
clones knew where they were.
Oh.
Everyone knew Trench, a former separatist admiral in the
Yep,
war,
he got
and he had a base
fucked by
somewhere
Anakin.
around Anaxis. And finally, that base has been discovered. Cody said that Trench must have put this droid in low power mode before his final mission, and so it was never truly shut down.
Okay.
Echo quickly reprogrammed it to not recognize the clones, and they asked this droid what it knew. The tactical droid looked around to see 50 clone troopers, and it proclaimed that he and his droids are loyal to the Separatist Alliance. Gregor laughed at the droid, telling it that the Seppies are no more.
Yeah.
But neither is the Republic. In fact, all of them lost to the Galactic Empire. The droid seemed to calculate this information, then replied that this was impossible. There was no Galactic Empire fighting in the war. One of the surviving clones spoke up, telling the droid that does not matter anymore. The Empire rules the galaxy, while the droids and clones were thrown away like scrap. Once more, the tactical droid calculated this, then said that the clones and droids now have a common enemy.
Yep.
They must work together to destroy this enemy.
Oh,
It needs
shit.
their programming. Wolf aimed a blaster at the droid and said they don't work with clankers, but Rex held up a hand and asked the droid
They have
how
to.
it can help. Rex was desperate. If he and his men couldn't fight back now, then it was over. He would have to retire from fighting. He was getting too old for this. But perhaps there was a spark of hope here. The tactical droid quickly turned and pushed a button, and from the floor behind the clones, 1,000 battle droids that Trench had in reservation
Whoa.
rose up from the ground.
1,000. I mean, obviously 1,000 droids. You know, it's not going to do that much against the Empire, but it's still like, wow, 1,000 droids just out of nowhere.
750 B1 droids, 230 B2 super battle droids, 10 droidicas, 10 commando droids.
What?
The 50 clones immediately held up their blasters.
See, that changes things, because I was like, oh, it's probably just, 1,000 B1s, but they also have some droidicas, some commandos, which commandos are actually really, really good. I mean, droidicas, obviously, the Empire, Stormtroopers probably don't know how to take down droidicas, and then B2s are obviously better than B1s.
Ready to die fighting against these droids here. But the tactical droid said they must defeat the Empire together once more.
Yep.
Nearly every single one of the clones was in complete disbelief. They thought they would die before fighting side by side with a battle droid. Rex even heard a few thermal detonators activate, but he quickly got to the front of all of the clones and started speaking. Rex told everyone that they have two choices here. They can choose to work with these droids, or they can all go off into the galaxy, retire, stop fighting, and live their lives under the Empire. The clone uprising has failed today. He failed today. But they've been gifted
That
a
it can
new
still
opportunity.
survive, you know?
Echo and Cody stepped forward, and they said that Rex is right. The droids aren't their enemy anymore. The Empire is.
Yep.
And they share that enemy with the droids.
At the end of the day, the droids aren't actually your enemies. It's rather the ones that were controlling them, right? The droids weren't deciding themselves what to do, you know? It was the Separatists controlling them into being your enemies.
The clones were looking around to one another, and together, they all decided that they will choose to fight the Empire, even if it means fighting with the droids.
Good.
Rex turned back to the tactical droid, asking it if it knew of any other Separatist bases, perhaps ones outfitted with ships. The droid plugged into a nearby
Ooh.
computer console and began scanning.
See, this is one of those newer commando droids. So this droid is like very smart, and they can definitely help a lot.
Separatist bases appeared, but they were all marked as shut down in the system, until finally, the droid discovered one other base that was still untouched.
Okay.
Felucia. All of the clones groaned in
Felucia.
unison. Felucia was the absolute worst. One of the clones, a man called Vantage, asked how exactly they're going to get to Felucia. The tactical droid said that will be no issue.
That's where Ayla
They
Secure
still have
died.
one Separatist cruiser here, and from a hidden hangar, lights turned on to reveal the backup cruiser for Trench. It was heavily
No
locked down.
fucking
As
way.
the 50 clones and 1,000 droids boarded it, they found out that it would fly. And so they took off for Felucia with a renewed shared purpose.
Wow.
The Separatist cruiser felt like it might fall apart from being inactive for so long, and it was just about as steady as the clones inside of it. The battle droids were trying to get to the bridge and handle the controls, but the clones kept pushing them away and sitting down themselves. The droids were genuinely confused, as the tactical droid ordered them to work with the clones, and so they were trying. Cody walked up to 5 of them, and they all turned, saying "Roger, Roger" in unison,
Roger,
saying
Roger.
they are happy to fight alongside the clones. Cody was rather freaked out, and just gave a sort of wave before finding Gregor and saying that he has a very bad feeling about this.
Okay.
Rex stood on the bridge with the tactical droid, learning more about the Felucia base, looking around all of his men. They were all so uncomfortable as they tried to work with the droids. Wolf and a handful of others still expressed that they did not trust them, but Rex said they are literally out of options. They have to do this.
Yep.
Eventually, they did land on Felucia, where there luckily wasn't an Imperial occupation, and the cruiser flew into the atmosphere until droid transports carried everyone to the ground. They all flew down to the coordinates of the base to find it shut down and abandoned, but the Empire never got around to destroying it yet. There should have been no rush, and Felucia was not important to the Empire, but this would benefit the clones and the
That's
droids.
good. I wonder how many like droids are here and ships and whatever the hell.
5,000 1,000 more droids of
What?
various types, along with vulture droids, bombers, and another cruiser. This
So they've got Vulture Droid as well, bombers, cruisers, and 5,000 more droids. They've got 6,000 droids together now. Holy shit.
was more than the clones ever imagined, and suddenly they were aligned with each other. As all of the clones looked to this army of abandoned droids, they began to see that perhaps they weren't so different. The droids were shut down and left to rot away, while the clones were phased out of the Republic, left to die out. And now, what was left of the two armies were ready to fight together. The home base would be on Felucia, and while the droids were boarding both cruisers and readying themselves for the fights ahead, the clones would take turns getting some much-needed rest. In these separatist barracks, as the clones were resting, droids themselves began taking their own rest shifts as well. The clones asked the droids what they were doing, and the droids simply said they deserve rest periods too. Wolf laughed at them, and some of the clones and droids actually talked to each other for a while. It was an interesting dynamic,
That's funny.
but it was starting to work. After a few more hours, the battle droids were prepared to enter into the galaxy, and they knew of the perfect first.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the battle droids, like one battle droid took one stormtrooper, the battle droid would be more effective. Like, I wouldn't be surprised.
Above Seleucami, there was reportedly an abandoned separatist fleet from the war.
Ooh.
All of the droids aboard it will certainly be shut down for good, as they weren't on low power mode when the shutdown command was sent out, but there were more than enough droids here on Felucia to take over this fleet and restart the ships. Unlike Felucia, Seleucami did have an Imperial presence, but they were mainly on the surface, with just one Star Destroyer in space. The droids and clones emerged from hyperspace with their 2 capital ships and a handful of other separatist crafts, and the tactical droid led the clones and droids into battle,
Imagine if they could take over, like, that Star Destroyer. Like, holy shit.
perfectly executing a takedown of the Star Destroyer. It caught the Empire completely off guard. The droids began flying into the hangar bays of the ships from this abandoned fleet, and in the main cruiser of this fleet, Gregor and Echo boarded with a few hundred battle droids, spreading into the cruiser.
Thing is, the battle droids can also be more effective here because they're being led by not only a commando thingy, but also clones, which are obviously, you know, they can think for themselves and are better commanders, like, overall.
Droids followed Echo to the bridge, and once inside, they remarked that all of the droids in here were an older model, unlike them, as they were free thinkers. All of the droids said Roger Roger in unison before taking their seats
Free
and lining up
thinkers.
with the fleet as they all jumped to hyperspace with different quick missions in mind. The main goal was to find information and cause havoc, with the end goal being the fall of the Emperor. Echo and Gregor took around 20 of the clones and hundreds of the droids to Corellia. They were key shipyards of the Empire.
Oh,
and they
dude, if they can if they can cause chaos in Corellia and stop the ship production of the Empire, like, that would be a big blow.
would engage in a skirmish with hopes to stop production on this planet, at least for a little bit. Wolf and the other 30 clones would go with their battle droid fleet to Kashyyyk, trying to free Wookiees and get them to join their fight. And meanwhile, Rex and Cody took 10 commando droids to a listening outpost
Okay.
on the moon of Bandamir. They were to infiltrate the heavily fortified outpost, find any information they could on Palpatine's whereabouts, as well as making sure the outpost could not alert the Empire of their location. The commandos spread out across the outpost secretly, and once the hourly all-clear signal was sent by the stormtroopers, the commandos began entering through the vents. Rex and Cody waited from the
What?
outside with schematics, guiding these droids through the facility. A few of the commandos jumped into the full mess hall and pulled out their blades to jump around, quickly dispatching of the stormtroopers. The rest of the droids entered into the main room, catching officers and troopers off guard as they moved in, taking them down as well. The stormtroopers tried desperately to shoot these commando droids, but they were extremely quick,
Yep.
while wielding vibro blades.
Yeah, commandos were very agile, very quick, and they've got their fucking vibro blades, so yeah, it's gonna be hard for those stormtroopers, man.
And a blaster. One by one, the stormtroopers fell as the commandos were able to take their helmets and use a voice modulator to send a new all-clear announcement. The droids then hacked into the databanks and were able to listen in on all of the Imperial conversations throughout the galaxy. But one of them stuck out in particular. Emperor Palpatine was leaving Coruscant, though his exact location would only be available in a secure battle station above Coruscant. Rex and Cody knew
Okay.
they were going to need these coordinates. All the clones want is one good shot against Palpatine. so Rex and Cody would organize a regroup on Felucia, where Wolf, Gregor, and Echo would meet up with them before they all depart to Coruscant. As Wolf was leaving Kashyyyk, a Wookiee prison camp was raided by his men along with droids in tanks. Wookiees were freed, and before the Empire noticed what was really going on, the Wookiees began storming the Imperial camps
Oh,
with
shit.
the clones and droids working with them to begin taking back their planet. On Corellia, as Echo and Gregor landed on the surface, 10 droidicas rolled in front of them, began firing to take out security troopers before they rolled through the shipyards, causing confusion and allowing for the clones and the droids to begin planting explosives at key points of these shipyards. As Echo and Gregor left to rejoin the others, they watched the shipyard suffer from these explosions, as the droids cheered into the comms.
Wow.
And after regrouping on Felucia, the group of 5 clones would enter hyperspace on a small transport, while battle droids exited hyperspace behind them in their own ships to distract the Coruscant blockade for just long enough, while the clones could safely board the secret space station orbiting Coruscant. And this mission would start successful, as the clones emerged above Coruscant, flying at the station. Dozens of Vulture droids scattered through the air around the station, and as the TIE Fighter hangar opened, Rex blasted away the TIEs as he flew their ship into the newly exposed hangar bay. He ordered Cody, Wolf, and Gregor to line the interior of the station with explosives, while he and Echo find out where Palpatine is.
Alright.
Rex and Echo moved through the base.
How do you want to kill Palpatine, though?
That got in their way, until they infiltrated the communications room, and Echo plugged into the console to see the report on Palpatine. Within minutes, he had it. They finally had the Emperor's coordinates. He was on Moonless speaking with San Hill, chairman of the banking clan, about more funding going to Project Stardust, and the clones finally had everything they needed.
The Death Star, right?
Echo downloaded this data to his own datapad as Cody, Wolf, Gregor, Echo, and Rex ran through the halls of the now exploding space station as the clones set off their explosives. Droids infiltrated the base during their space battle, and now battle droids lined the halls, protecting the clones from stormtroopers as they ran through the space station to get to the escape pod room. One of the droids yelled that it's been an honor, and Gregor yelled back that they wouldn't have it any other way. They finally got into the escape pod, and as Cody sat down in the front seat and began hitting the eject button, he was hit with a harsh reality. He yelled to the others that the escape pod is fried.
What?
He can't eject it for some reason, but Echo said that he could manually override it from the outside, so he ran out.
Outside?
The system. Unfortunately, the inner plug was damaged from the explosion.
Oh, fuck.
So Echo knew what had to be done. He pulled out his datapad, and he threw it to Rex, telling his captain that they've all gotta go at some time. And this is for the 501st.
Oh,
Rex
man.
realized what was happening. He tried to get up and stop Echo, but Echo got the override controls. The pod immediately closed and ejected, as Rex and the others were yelling at Echo. The pod flew away, and the explosions consumed the space station and Echo along with it.
Oh, come on, man.
The 4 remaining clones sat in silence before Rex grabbed the datapad and said they finished this for Echo. On the Coruscant surface, the clones were able to sneak away from their escape pod and get into an Imperial transport, while the stormtroopers were in panic mode about the explosion. They flew away without anyone noticing, and once back in hyperspace and in contact with the droid fleet, Rex had them pull away from Sullust, where another large group of the droids were fighting in a big battle, and instead they regrouped over Moonless.
Okay.
Once there, they were to engage the Imperial fleet that is surely to be there to protect Palpatine. The tactical droid said this would work, and so they all took off for Moonless. Soon enough, the droid army engaged the Imperial fleets above Moonless, creating the perfect distraction for the clones in their stolen Imperial transport to fly through the battle, safely past the Imperial blockade, claiming they were ground reinforcements to protect the Emperor. This was accepted, and the 4 clones were able to descend to the surface, landing their shuttle on the
that was
outskirts
easy.
of the city. After being allowed through, the captain of the Imperial fleet called down to the Emperor and to his men to say his reinforcements were on the way. Palpatine told his captain he was a fool. Reinforcements were never requested. The Emperor then told the captain he would deal with him later. Then he looked to his squad of 8 Death Troopers and told them to find the shuttle, kill whoever was on board. As Rex,
he has Death Troopers here. Okay, that's bad.
Gregor, Wolf, and Cody ran through the streets, following the coordinates of Palpatine. They were going over plans for once they reached the building. Rex said that he and Cody will cause a distraction at the bottom, and Gregor will scale the wall with Wolf. As they entered an open clearing, Gregor was yelling that he should climb it alone, but his voice was suddenly silenced. A perfect sniper shot from a death trooper above them pierced Gregor's helmet, and he fell dead to the ground.
Oh, fuck.
Wolf tried to grab his body, but Rex pulled him down into cover as they looked up at the death troopers, firing at them, trying to distract them. The 3 clones wanted to check if somehow Gregor survived, but there was no time. He was gone. Through their grief, they scrambled for a new idea. Wolf told Rex and Cody to draw their fire. He is going to go around and get back into their shuttle without them noticing. Rex and Cody nodded, then ran out back into the clearing, firing up at the death
Gregor's
troopers
gone.
this time. Wolf snuck away back to their shuttle, as Rex and Cody were doing their best to keep the death troopers distracted. Rex did take one down, but he was clipped in the shoulder. Cody kept firing, but time was running out, and suddenly Wolf flew the shuttle over them, firing down at the death troopers.
Oh, shit.
The troopers shot back up at Wolf, damaging the shuttle greatly, but Wolf took them all down, then flew back over Cody and Rex. The 2 clones yelled out in excitement and told Wolf to come pick them up.
Wow.
But inside the shuttle, Wolf looked at the control panel and saw that the engines were hit very badly.
No, don't tell me we're gonna lose Wolf as well.
Have to eject. But as Wolf looked at the coordinates for Palpatine, seeing he was in the building directly to the right, Wolf called down to Cody and Rex, telling them he would not be ejecting, and that it has been an honor.
Oh,
Rex looked to where Wolf turned the shuttle. TIE fighters lined up behind Wolf now. Rex and Cody could only watch as Wolf's ship was hit by the TIEs, and he perfectly guided this exploding ship right at the building that Palpatine was in. The Emperor stood alone with Sandhill in Hill's office building when they saw the exploding ship coming right for them. Palpatine quickly turned, firing lightning, trying to hold the ship back, but it was too late. The explosions helped as Wolf crashed
No
into
way.
the office windows, instantly killing the Emperor.
Oh, shit.
Rex informed the tactical droid leading a space battle about this news, and the tactical droid said that given their coordinates, they should be right next to the banking records building. If the 2 clones can download a record, then the galaxy can see all of the secrets the Empire is paying for.
Oh,
with
shit.
money. Rex told Cody to cover the outside, and he ran into the building, plugging into the records console. As he did this, he remembered Wolf, his sacrifice, and he wanted to honor that sacrifice by truly bringing down the Empire like this. He forced one of the office workers to log in, then downloaded a report of everything the Empire was paying for, including Project Stardust.
Ooh.
As Rex left the office building, one of the TIE fighters that shot Wolf landed behind him and Cody. Rex looked to see the hatch open,
Oh,
and
fuck.
Darth Vader himself emerged.
Oh, shit.
It was clear that Vader was here, ramping up security for the Emperor, as the clones and droids were causing chaos across the galaxy. Vader couldn't protect Palpatine, but he planned to take down these clones once and for
Oh,
all.
fuck.
But in a panic, Rex ran, throwing his datapad down to Cody, and at the same time, Cody had an idea. He grabbed a thermal detonator, and he threw it up to Rex. As Vader reached out his hand, he used the Force to pull Rex right at him. As Rex caught the thermal detonator, Vader plunged his blade through the back of Rex, and Rex gasped before looking up to Vader, saying this was for the clones. He lifted the detonator, and before Vader could react, it exploded.
Oh, shit.
Rex died with Vader, avenging Anakin and the
Killed fucking Vader as well.
Cody looked around, realizing only he remained.
Oh,
But he had the
shit.
banking data that would bring down the Empire. He would honor Rex, Echo, Gregor, and Wolf by getting it to the Senate. Droid transports flew into the city, and Cody boarded one as what remained of the droid army jumped to hyperspace for Coruscant.
Okay.
He would get this data to the Senate, and news of the building of the Death Star would circulate as the Empire quickly began to crumble from within. Rebellions across the galaxy would rise up so quickly out of fear and strength that the Empire would be forced to submit and become a new republic.
Okay.
All in due time.
He's actually gotta get
To be honest,
to the
Cody
Senate.
didn't stick around for the politics of it all. He did his job. Instead, he would meet with the remaining 30 clones and the remnants of the droid army, and the droids would all voluntarily shut down in front of Cody as a sign of their droid respect. They didn't want to fight anymore either, and Cody allowed them to shut down. The clones were all given pensions or jobs with the New Republic, but Cody would choose to go into retirement on Pabu,
Oh, that's
where
nice.
the Bad Batch resided. It was very nice, and Cody would forever remember his brothers fighting by his side, sacrificing themselves to bring down this empire, both clone troopers and battle droids. And folks, that is where our story ends today.
Wow.
I really
Wow, that's that's a pretty damn good what if. I'm gonna have to give this 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for this what if, I'd say. It's once again above average what if, as pretty much all of them are. But this one isn't like a super like favorite one of mine, but I still think it's really good and a really nice what if. So I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Let me know what you guys would rate it down in the comments section down below. If you agree with my 8 out of 10 rating, or if you don't, and why. And yeah, that's it. 8 out of 10 for this what if.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this reaction, make sure to go subscribe to the Star Wars Galaxy for more awesome what if content. And do not forget to subscribe to my channel, leave a like, and turn on those notifications so you never miss an upload. Remember, a new Star Wars what if reaction drops every single day. Join our Discord, the link's in the description. Also, if you want to support the channel and get exclusive perks, consider joining our Patreon. Huge thanks to all of our amazing Patreons for your support. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video, so drop a comment with feedback or let me know which what if I should react to next. Thanks again for watching. This is the way, and may the Force be with you. Until then, I will see you next time.
Hey, you didn't watch it? Well, check out the video on the left side of the screen, which is specifically recommended for you, or check out the playlist on the right of the screen, which contains similar videos to this one, made by me, of course. Hey, remember, subscribe.